Dear ones, I was guided to talk about Jesus' death. Since the globalist elite lied about everything, what if they lied about Jesus' death as well? What if Jesus didn't die at age 33? What if he had descendants and that they're here among us right now? So, the idea that Jesus did not die on the cross, often referred to as the swoon theory or the substitution theory. It is a significant theme in various Gnostic and alternative historical texts. In Gnostic cosmology, the archons are depicted as lower, often malevolent or ignorant planetary rulers who aim to keep humanity trapped in the material world. If one follows the logic of Gnostic texts, like the second treatise of the Great Seth or the Apocalypse of Peter, the lie about the death of Jesus serves a few specific purposes for the archons. Purpose number 1, the illusion of victory. So the archons operate through fear and control over the physical realm. By staging or promoting the narrative of a physical agonizing death, they attempt to demonstrate their power over the Son of God. From a Gnostic perspective, the archons were actually deceived. They crucified a physical substitute or a mere shadow, while the true divine Christ Spirit remained unharmed and mocked by their efforts. Purpose number 2, keeping humanity focused on the flesh. The archon's primary goal is to keep gnosis, divine knowledge, hidden. By focusing the narrative on a physical death and a physical resurrection, they keep humanity's attention fixed on the material body and outward suffering. This prevents people from looking inward to discover the eternal, immaterial spark that cannot be touched by death or by the archons themselves. Purpose number 3, establishing dogma over direct experience. In many Gnostic traditions, the death and resurrection are seen as allegories for spiritual awakening. By turning the event into a rigid historical fact required for salvation, the archons, through worldly institutions, i.e. churches, replace personal spiritual realization with blind faith in a physical event. This creates a system of the spiritual gatekeeping that the archons can influence. Ultimately, the claim that the archons lied is rooted in the belief that the material world is a deceptive matrix, and the crucifixion was the ultimate magic trick used to obscure the truth of human divinity. So, what would the church motives be for lying about Jesus' death? From the perspective of Gnostic scholarship and alternative history, the institutionalization of the death of the cross served several strategic purposes for the early church as it evolved into a centralized power. If the Gnostic view is that Jesus didn't die or that the crucifixion was an archontic illusion, then the church's insistence on the physical death can be seen as a way to secure its own authority. Here's why that narrative was so vital to the institution. Reason number 1, the power of atonement. By establishing that Jesus died physically for the sins of the world, the church created a death that only they could manage. Here's the logic. If salvation is only possible through Christ's sacrifice and the church is the only authorized representative of Christ on earth, then you must go through the church to be saved. Here's the contrast. Gnosticism taught that salvation comes from gnosis, eternal knowledge, awakening. If Jesus didn't die to pay a debt, then there is no debt for the church to collect. Reason number 2, control through martyrdom. The early church was built on the blood of martyrs. By emphasizing the physical suffering and death of Jesus, the church set a precedent for total obedience and sacrifice. It transformed a message of internal liberation into a religion of outward suffering. This made it much easier for the institution to demand loyalty and to frame those who sought a living or spiritual Christ, like the Gnostics, as heretics. Reason number 3, suppressing the living Christ mindset. If Jesus didn't die, it means he remained as a living teacher, or that the Christ is a frequency available to everyone right now. So the threat is a living Christ within every person makes a centralized church hierarchy necessary. So by finalizing the story with a death and a one-time physical resurrection, the church basically closed the book. They turned a present moment spiritual reality into a past historical event that they alone had the right to interpret. Reason number 4, the Nicene Consolidation. In 325 AD, at the Council of Nicaea, the Roman Empire and the church leaders worked to create a unified doctrine to stabilize the empire. They actively suppressed Docetic, the belief that Jesus' body was an illusion, and Gnostic text. By burning these alternative scriptures and excluding them from the Bible, they effectively lied by omission, ensuring that future generations would only ever hear the version where the archons or the physical authorities successfully killed the body. Dear ones, I'm presenting this theory to you so you can start looking into this if you haven't already. Take your power back from these institutions. They lied about everything.